Okay. Are we, everybody back?
I am back.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Oops. Full screen. Do we want? Okay. I don't know.
Okay. I think we have everybody. I'd like to call this meeting to order. The Borough Council meeting of Tuesday, April 14th, 2020. The time is 2 p.m. We'll start this meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the
United States of
America,
Republic for
and
which
to
it
the
stands,
stands,
one nation,
God,
under God,
indivisible, with
liberty,
liberty and
Justice for
all. Whoa,
whoa.
that was rough.
Yeah. No military bearing there. Roll call, Melissa, please.
Councilmember Boucher,
Here.
Councilmember Woodward,
Not there.
Councilmember Brunner,
Here.
Councilmember Jenks,
here.
Councilmember Menon, Councilmember Durr,
Here.
and Council President Mull.
Here. Before we start,
Woodward's here now too.
Okay,
okay, John is there, Melissa.
okay.
There was an executive session before this afternoon's meeting to discuss contractual issues. First item of business for this afternoon is the policy statement on virtual meetings. This was published on the borough website. I'm sure everybody's had a chance to peruse it. And the second part of this 3-page document is the virtual meeting public comment policy. Are there any questions about the policy?
No, not for me.
Okay.
Why don't we have a motion by council to approve those two policies?
I was just about to do that, Chris.
All right, thank you.
Okay. May I have a motion from council, from someone to adopt these policies?
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, and that business is ended. Public comments. Do we have any public comments this afternoon?
Yes, I have one.
Go ahead.
First of all, last meeting at the finance, we said that it would be a good idea to identify the people who are not by their name. And I see somebody who is on mom's iPhone, and that's a little bit confusing. I also apologize. I am on my wife's computer. It says Roxandra Jadick. It's not Roxandra Jadick. It's Adrian Jadick. And I really don't know how to change this to my.
I'm changing mine right now. I apologize.
Okay.
Done.
Okay. So now, maybe you tell me how you did it. Okay. Quickly to my comments. I have this. Can you zoom out, Melissa, a little bit? I just wanted to talk a little bit about establishing better standards and clear delimitation between what maintenance work falls under borough responsibility and what is placed upon residents. So this is an example of a fallen tree that fell just this last Friday during the storm. And I texted Jim Babb, and his reply was, quote, it's not enough to send a crew out. To me, Jim's decision-making is mind-blowing. All due respect, but I don't understand what is big enough. I mean, if this tree is not big enough, or, you know, the threat that it does, at night people don't see it, I ended up putting some cones in front of it. So I don't know. Did he want to go go home early on Friday? Whatever his reasons were, but I just don't understand. So I have been warning Jim and Michelle several times about the trees on Cardinal Road that are dead and threaten, and they're nobody's trees. So honestly, we have no desire to flood the borough with senseless requests. You understand that. It makes no sense. We just want to have a civil conversation and, you know, an intelligent dialogue here. We just don't understand what exactly is the standard here, so we can call the borough when it's justified. We don't want to bother you guys. But if this falls under if I'm supposed to do something to this, just let me know. Okay, the second part is related to the first one, and it's...
Jim, not the complete story.
Say again?
This is Jim, the Public Works Manager. I'd like
Yes.
to reply to that briefly. We were off on Friday. It was Good Friday. The picture you had sent me did not, and now that I see this picture, it looks to be a different picture than the one you sent me. The one I saw showed it barely out on the street. We have people on call during the weekend, and the reply I gave you that as opposed to sending a crew out this job, that if we got another call, it was windy that day and there were storms, that we would react to it, and we did.
You came today and cut it. Monday, I'm sorry.
No, it was over the weekend.
Monday. I heard the truck and I saw when it was cut. I can tell you it wasn't during the weekend, but it's fine. We don't want to have this conversation right now. But the thing is, this is the tree. I ended up also pulling it a little bit, and maybe that was the picture you got, but this is the tree. So my point is, for the council, is we need a standard. I need to know when to call. Is this a tree that is justified? If it's a little bit over, does that make any difference? Is that so? What is the standard? You understand? I don't want to spend too much time on this. I hope you follow me. The second thing, a related issue, is about the vegetation, and this tree is typical for that grows in the right-of-way on the side of the road. The right-of-way can vary between 8 feet. Am I yelling? I'm sorry, I don't want to yell. Between 8 feet and 12 feet in birdland. While some owners have shown consideration for this strip, others haven't. Some have used it to plant privacy screening going against borough code and hindering line of sight. Some have just decided to let it grow wild, just like in this particular situation. These are not planted trees. This is just some vegetation that has been neglected. So the result is, and Cardinal is one of these situations, we see medium to large trees that are not borough trees, but are planted or exist, I don't want to say planted, on borough property, not on private property. And therefore, they are in a limbo as to whom should maintain or remove them where dead. Are we going to ask the owner to cut this tree? It's not his.
Adrian, this is Jim again. I'd just like to ask a question. I just looked at the picture you sent me on Friday afternoon, and it's a different picture from the one you're posting here.
It's from downhill. I was walking uphill, Jim. It's the same bloody tree. I didn't invent the tree.
You didn't move the tree after you
I just said I pulled it over, and probably your picture was after I had pulled it from the middle of the road. But the question is, what is an emergency? How big has the tree have to be? Are we supposed to pull it? Is my responsibility to do this? or is yours to come and investigate? That's my question. Whether it's a little bit over or not as much, it's the same tree, and it doesn't matter. The question is, what is the standard? So let me finish, because I understand from the policies that we don't want to get into this back and forth. You know, I don't interrupt you when you speak during meetings, so please give me my 5 minutes and then you can say whatever you want. This is not, you know, I'm not inventing. This is the same bloody truth. So, to finish here, I ask the council to look seriously into this matter and enact clear ordinance. I also ask the borough manager to begin enforcing existing ordinances. Most importantly, the one requiring any tree or bush to be planted 2 feet inside property line by owners. Many people abuse these regulations and they have down the road consequences for us. All these trees, so the existing lingering state of these plants will only result in higher removal costs later or a greater liability for adjacent owners. Obviously, if we keep ignoring these things, these trees are going to grow, and then it's going to cost an arm and a leg. Somebody's doing dishes. An arm and a leg to remove them. So, in any case, to end, my final statement is, we, the JADICs, have spent in excess of $150,000 on a retaining wall and fence on the northern side of the property. You can see it here in the picture. Currently, there are several such trees that have the potential to inflict major property damage or personal injury. These trees do not serve any purpose. They're not part of the Wyomissing deciduous tree heritage. They're just wild growth that has been neglected and left to grow to the point that it became a threat. Honestly, I'll tell you this is what I had prepared. This wall is custom made. Every one of those blocks has a different color. If that is hit, I cannot make it look the same. It's going to look patched. I don't want to have that. I don't want to have it. All it takes is just some decision here. Common sense. Let's take these dead trees down. Whoever, if it's your responsibility, take it down. If it's the owners, which personally I doubt it, then enforce it. Send them notices of violation to take the things down. But we have to do something. And thank you very much. I appreciate the time.
Thank you. Next thing on the agenda would be for a motion to accept all the committee reports.
So moved.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Have it. The first item on the list is the Borough Council meeting minutes from March the 10th, 2020. Are there any additions or corrections to the council minutes as written? Hearing none, all those in favor of accepting them, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Have it. The next order of business is we need a motion to ratify all the 8 actions taken by the borough manager in implementing the emergency declaration by Mayor Levering and Resolution 2020-09, extending the declaration, of which was adopted by council at the March 30th, 2020 emergency meeting. Do we have a motion for that?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Have it. Okay. And we have the minutes from the March the 30th, 2020 emergency meeting held via Zoom. Any additions or corrections to those minutes as they were written? All those in favor of accepting those minutes, please signify by saying aye.
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 Ayes have it. Consulting engineers report, Jim McCarthy, if you're on the line.
I am. Hello, everyone.
How you doing, Jim?
Good.
Good.
So I guess a lot of things on the report we actually moved to deferred the projects till next year in finance last week. So I guess the report was, we'll say our report was accurate an hour before the finance committee meeting last week. It has changed substantially since that meeting. So basically in summation, the two things that we're working on are the 4th Street project, getting that out to bid, as well as the bike trail bids. So that's what we have going on right now.
Okay. All right. Any questions for the engineer? All those in favor of accepting his report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Police chief and mayor's report. Chief Beal, Mayor Levering.
I don't have anything further to add, but the chief will update you on the department's activity. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yes.
Okay.
Borough Council, I'm going to get off it.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, everything's self-explanatory on my report. I'm looking at this Zoom thing, and we all have faces made for radio, that's for sure.
Oh, man.
Especially yours. That's right. At any rate, everything's self-explanatory. We continue to work within the guidelines for the COVID-19. Our guys are healthy, knock on wood at this point. We continue to use all the precautions we can. I'm very grateful to a lot of businesses and individuals out in the community that have provided us with some things. And as far as our numbers are, we are 71 calls lighter now than we were last year at this time during the month. So I expect to see that continue. It's hard to say, though. If this weather breaks, I think we're going to have trouble containing people if they're still supposed to be inside.
I believe you're probably correct there, Chief.
Yeah, I would hope we don't have that people don't get out early and then we have a relapse. But at any rate, I'll answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions for the chief or the mayor?
Yeah, Chief, one question. I saw that incident over at, what was it, Home Depot yesterday?
Yes.
Is this some idiot trying to intentionally spread the virus? And did we get him on video?
I don't think they got them on video. They're still checking. Just some knucklehead that went in there and did what he did, and then he left. You can't explain some people's behavior. They're just ignorant, and they're pushing the limits. So he just wanted to get a rise. And if we catch them, though, we will deal with them appropriately. We also are charging people. We have not done it yet, but we have that portion of the criminal element that claims to have had or has COVID-19 to avoid being arrested. That is a charging of itself for obstruction of justice. I checked with the DA, and we're going to bang them with that also if that's the card they want to play.
And how about the officer that was spit in the face during an altercation last week?
Yeah, all okay.
Okay, good.
Okay. Any other questions for the chief or the mayor? All those in favor of accepting the report as written, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Have it. Fire Commissioner's report, Bill Jenks.
Okay, for the month of March, the commissioner reports within the borough, there were 112 calls for service, of which 75 of those were in the borough, with 37% were outside of the borough. There were a total of, the majors were 23 fire calls, 36 EMS/rescue and MVA calls. Fire damage for the month was 0. And total responses for the year to date, 369. That's all I have.
All right, all those in favor of accepting the Fire Commissioner report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Finance and Administration, Steve Brunner.
Okay, Finance and Admin met on April 9th. Obviously had a significant discussion on revenues for the borough. But before we get to that, we also had a presentation by Nick Bieber at Herbine & Company with the audit review, basically saying all the numbers were in place. So that was taken care of, the audit review. We also had discussion regarding the mercantile tax. And Chris, I'm going to ask you, is that something we need to act on at this point, or is it something we wait for the school districts to appoint? But
I would recommend that there be action by council today to authorize what the committee suggested.
okay, so some background is we got contacted by the Wilson School District, which approximately 85% of our mercantile tax comes from, and looking to reduce because there would be repayments back on the mercantile tax for obviously the lack of business that's happening in the last month, and hopefully not too much longer. But the Finance Committee has made a recommendation for council to allow the percentage of the reduction of the prepayment amounts for the mercantile tax from the Wilson School District and the Wyomissing Area School District to be no more than 50%. Once the districts provide their percentage for rate reduction, the borough will select the lesser of the proposed percentages and enact for both districts. So I will make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Melissa, why don't you call the roll for that one, please?
Sure. Councilmember Belcher,
Yes.
Councilmember Woodward,
Yes.
Councilmember Brunner,
Yes.
Councilmember Jenks,
Yes.
Councilmember Menon,
Yes.
Councilmember Durr,
Yes.
Council President Mull.
Yes. Okay, Steve.
Okay, we got some updates on the taxable default assessment of $1,021,000,000. Actually came in at $1,023,000,000, but there was one reduction, significant reduction of approximately $1 million. So that was just taken note of. In addition to that, Melissa, can you put up the project worksheet that you had sent out? The committee is recommending to Borough Council, hold on, I got to get my glasses back on. Committee is recommending to Borough Council to suspend until 2021 or until the borough's financial situation permits later in 2020, and when a contract allows, to delay all capital projects that have not been started to date. The projects in front of you total in yellow total $2,107,500, and I will make that motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, so ordered.
Okay, and one last thing is that Finance Committee is also recommending to Borough Council that we reject the road work bids for 2020 at this time. And I'll make that motion.
We have a second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it.
Steve, I think Tom, I think one of the things that was talked about at the Finance Committee was we were going to check to see if there was any liability for us losing any grants or matching funds in any way if we put any of these on hold. I don't know if we ever determined that was correct or not.
I believe anything in the yellow that we highlighted had nothing to do with grants.
Okay. So there's no matching funds of any sort.
We would have the ones that would have grants available. We're still moving forward. That would be the bicycle trail project and the 4th Street. They're the only two that we have grant money tied to currently.
And did we ever figure out the 4th Street project? Is there some of the matching funds coming from the borough, or is it all coming from the grants and the awards?
Right now, $2 million of it's coming from DCED. That's been committed. PennDOT has not made the award of the multimodal fund, so we're still waiting to hear that. But with with the timing of the bids and all, this wouldn't be back. At the earliest, it would be on the May council agenda for action. So we should know the PennDOT portion by then, Keith.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions for Steve Brunner on the Finance Committee?
Hey, Tom, this is Greg. Just
Yeah, go ahead,
one
Greg.
comment. Do you need to formally accept the audit at this meeting?
I'd recommend a motion for that.
I just wanted to throw that out. Sorry.
Thanks, Greg.
You want to make that motion, Steve?
Sure, I just did.
Yeah, okay.
Second.
We have a second.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 That was a clean report, by the way. It was a good one again.
Thanks, Greg. That was a rookie mistake.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else for Finance and Administration? All those in favor of accepting that report, please signify by saying aye.
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 Please have it. Borough Manager's Report, Pat.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just to let you know, the minutes are attached as normally. Borough Hall continues to operate on a pandemic response plan. We're closed to the public. Staff is assisting citizens by electronic, phone, email, and through our Zoom virtual meetings with staff. Fire, police, and public works are operating within their respective operational plan, indicated. And the police department has activated an online reporting system to minimize the interaction with police officers face with the public for non-violent or non-aggressive crimes. Melissa has done an excellent job updating the borough website. The update set for the latest information. I encourage you to go on and take a look at that, see how it all is out. Our current park playground amenities are closed to the public. Trails remain open for temporary use. Practice social distancing signs have been placed at all trail entrances and at parks. Summer program registration through the MyRec software is on hold. And the Recreation Board will be discussing the future of our summer in the 21st meeting. We're continuing to operate the borough's declaration of local disaster response plans and following all the guidance that's coming down from the CDC and the county. And one other thing that's not on the report, we're taking the opportunity to, since we have a high water, non-high water usage from the commercial standpoint, we're going to be starting our flow testing and hydrant testing on April 16th, which is currently 2 weeks. The Public Works will be taking care of that during the on-duty time frame. That's it, sir.
Okay.
I have two quick questions.
Go ahead, Tom.
One, do our guys that are out on the street, the Public Works guys, do they have to wear masks or not? Is that their option? I don't even know.
Only if they come in contact with the public or enter a public place.
Okay. The second question is, mail that gets taken down to the Borough Hall or is dropped off. I know they're still delivering mail down there, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a box that people are supposed to put things in there, right?
Yes.
If
The outside.
I take my water, what?
The outside. There's
If
an
I
outside.
take my water, yeah, the outside, and that's over by the police department, that one?
Right there next to, it's between the two entrances. In the
Yeah,
back.
okay. That's what I thought. Someone asked me about dropping off I guess it was their tax envelope or something, and I said, well, there should be a mailing thing between the two there, and I thought there was, but I don't know what they were looking at.
And we've also put it on our website that we're actually taking those tax payments through that drop box and relaying those to the tax collector. So
Yeah,
far, that
that's
seems to
what
be
I
working.
thought. Okay, just checking.
Sure.
Thank you. That's it.
Okay. Any other questions for the borough manager? All those,
Tom, this is Steve Brunner. Pat, I just want to reiterate, the last we heard was with the issue of COVID-19 and tax payments, if you want the 2% discount, those taxes are still due at the end of this month, correct? So just so the public knows that if they want that 2% discount, to the best of my knowledge, you still need to have them submitted by end of the month.
All right.
Yeah, I believe you're correct on that, Steve.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions for the borough manager? All those in favor of accepting his report as written, please signify by saying aye.
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 Ayes have it. The next is your treasurer's statement of operation for the general fund, the Bureau of Water, Sewer Fund, Highway Aid, Refuse and Recycling Fund, and the Road Tax Fund. Any comments from the treasurer?
Yeah, just real quickly. Steve gave a report earlier about all the project deferral potential and the reason why. Just so you can to drive that point a little further, if you look at page 2 on this report on the general government, where would that be? So yeah, right there, up back right there. So if you look at, nope, one more up, go up one.
That one?
There we go.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, if you look at the total revenue line and the third to last column on the right, you have a $1 million unfavorable variance. Last year at this time, it was only 203,000. So there's only 4 or 5 different categories that are, really pushing us in that direction, and that's some of our tax revenue. Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, I think there was discussion that people are waiting a little bit longer than usual to pay their taxes. But yes, the deadline still looms ahead. And some of the other things like your EIT and mercantile taxes, which are lagging behind or will be non-existent. So page 3, all the way at the bottom, next page down, right there. So if you look at the third column from the right, you have a $974,000 total unfavorable variance to date, minus 142 from last year. So again, Steve went over that list, and this is really, pointing to why that's being considered is we don't know. So those are the results through 3 months of this year. So that's all I have to say, Tom.
All right. Thank you, Greg. All those in favor of accepting the treasurer's statement of operation, please signify by saying aye.
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 Ayes have it. Thank you very much. The next is the treasurer's statement of operation for the general fund, or I'm sorry, the accounts payable for the general fund, the Bureau of Water, the Sewer Fund, Refuse and Recycling. Any questions on the checks that were written last month?
Yeah, one. Bill Van Etten, check 45,809. I know he doesn't work for us, but what did we pay him $1,000 for?
That's the consulting fees for the FEMA and PEMA grant writing process that we share with Spring Township.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. Any other questions on the accounts payable? All those in favor of accepting that, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. The next one is the tax collector's report. I guess you want to comment on that, Greg? You have that one in front of you.
Hold on a second here. Yeah. Again, these, we are making collections, but they are lagging behind where they were last year at this time. I can't scroll down on this thing for some reason. But at any rate, so total collections, wasn't prepared for that. Yeah, I don't see a total on there. We have, according to this, $3.8 million of outstanding taxes collect. And again, it's about probably $350,000 behind where it was last year in collections. So
Yeah,
we just think and hope that's just because people are out of work and they're going to wait as long as possible to pay their taxes.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Be interesting to see how many go for the 2%.
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor of accepting the tax collector's report, please signify by saying aye.
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 Ayes have it. Next, we have some ordinances that were advertised and require final approval. The first one is ordinance number 1411-2020. And this is an ordinance of the Borough of Wyomissing, Berks County, Pennsylvania, amending the Wyomissing Borough Code of Ordinance as to the maximum amount of allowable sewer discharges. All those, somebody make a motion to adopt that ordinance?
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, and we have a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. The next one is ordinance 1412-2020, an ordinance of the Borough of Wyomissing, Berks County, Pennsylvania, amending the Wyomissing Borough Code of Ordinances as to traffic and crosswalks. Somebody wish to make a motion to adopt that?
So moved.
Second.
And we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Ayes have it. The next one is ordinance number 1413-2020, an ordinance of the Council of the Borough of Wyomissing, Berks County, Pennsylvania, setting forth its intent to issue its general obligation note, series of 2020, in an aggregate principal in the amount of $5 million. Does somebody wish to make that motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
And Mr. Brunner abstains. And we have 6-1. Thank you very much. And that one's adopted as well. And we did 2020-09. Is that not right, Chris?
Yes, that was already done at the beginning of the meeting.
Okay, we've done that. All right. That concludes our normal agenda of business. Any other business to bring before council this afternoon? Hearing none, we'll stand adjourned. Thank you.